Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. As you heard, my name is Gary Knudsen, and I'm a resident of Plymouth, Minnesota. I live about 5 miles away from here. I work for a local software company, and the company makes, or designs and develops energy automation software for the utility industry. And we sell specialized computer systems to utilities all over the country and the world. And I work in the area of technical sales, so I look for new business opportunities. But I wanted to talk a little bit about sailing and my job history, to give you some background on myself. And I picked sailing because it's of interest to me, and it's something that comes in and out of my life, quite often. I first started off with a sailing adventure in the U.S. Navy. Back in 1972, I decided to join the Navy after going to college for a semester, and the college didn't seem quite right, so I wanted to do something a little more fun. And so I joined the Navy for 3 years and explored the world. I started off in the boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois, just north of Chicago, and I got shipped out to Long Beach, California. So Long Beach, California had a sailing club. So I decided to sign up for the sailing club and learn how to sail and graduate through their various boat sizes and programs. And after about 6 months or so, I was able to take my first ocean-going cruise to Catalina Island with a bunch of Navy buddies. So that was very interesting and fun experience. Of course, it's quite different than the steam-powered U.S. sailor type experience, but it was my first exposure. So after the experience in Long Beach, the Navy decided to close that base, and we moved the ship down to San Diego. So the sailing adventure on the smaller ships stopped for a bit. And San Diego didn't have a sailing club, and they didn't have a flying club. And I did join that as well also, but maybe I'll save that for one of my other speech topics. Between San Diego and my next sailing adventures, quite a few things happened. I really didn't get back into sailing until about 1994. That was in Madison, Wisconsin. That's where I went to college actually originally. So in the interim time, I worked as an electrician in California, and then went back to Madison to get an engineering degree, got an electrical engineering degree, and then went to work in the aerospace industry for General Dynamics, and then worked with the F-16 program there. After that 7-year experience, I moved back to Madison to work for a company that made superconducting magnets. So they made these magnets to store energy, and then the energy was used as a backup power supply in the event of a power outage. It's a very interesting company, but altogether not economically viable, so nonetheless that sort of fell by the wayside. But in the meantime, I met my wife, and we decided to buy a boat. So we bought a boat in the fall, and sitting up on sitting on a cradle, couldn't really tell how well it sailed, but we decided to buy it anyways. And then we set sail in the spring. We sailed from Kenosha, Wisconsin, up to Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and that's where we kept the boat for a number of years. It's a very pleasant place to sail if you ever get up to Door County, that area, Fish Creek, Egg Harbor, all those very nicely well-kept marinas, and just a very kind of like almost a European atmosphere, if you will. Sturgeon Bay as well. So we sailed that for a number of years, and then my wife had to change jobs. So we went to Minneapolis, and that's where I ended up today. We had to move the boat to Duluth, though, to get back to sailing, because it was 5 or 6 hour drive from Manitowoc from Minneapolis. So we moved it up there, and we sailed a little bit around the Duluth area and also in the Fossil Islands. But eventually we had to sell the boat because we bought a house, and for those of you who are not aware, BOAT is an acronym for Break Out Another 1,000. We got tired of breaking out the 1,000, so we sold the boat and ended up renting boats. So now we rent a boat occasionally in the Bayfield area. But then actually that kind of gets expensive too. It's kind of like, still 1,000 here, 1,000 there. So now I've decided to go to more of the freeloading So there is a, if you're interested, there's a yacht club in Wayzata where you can go and sit at a table that says crew looking for a ride. And if you sit at that table, somebody will come up to you, and if they're looking for somebody to have races like Thursday night and Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon and Thursday night, and they'll come up and say, we need somebody on our crew, we need some weight on the rail, we need somebody heavy, or we need somebody that can work the sails. And it's a great time. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And they also serve beer afterwards for free. So highly recommend that. So that's about all I have to say.